be another second before it's up. Would you do me a favor and type in the chat when you see it on screen?
Yep.
Thank you. All right. We are live. I think we're ready to go. Welcome, everybody. My name is Demonic Robots, and no, this is not a DMC game, but it is a very similar one. This is one of those games that was made in the golden age, so to speak, of Capcom and that PS2 era. This is a game that was not actually related too much to Resident Evil or DMC, but it does have its roots in there. But essentially, Clock Tower is a series that was starting out on the Famicom, where it was basically very similar to Amnesia, where you couldn't fight back, you were being chased around by a bad guy, and you had to hide and evade and do all of that stuff. Then they made one for the PS1, which was very similar to it, but it was also kind of a whodunit, because you didn't know who the killer was, and you were trying to figure that out. And then Clock Tower 3 is completely, absolutely different from the rest of the entire series. I mean, you know, it's literally the black sheep of the entire family. It was actually directed by Tomoshi Sadamoto, who he did a lot of the Street Fighter stuff in Capcom, but the big thing is that he only directed the game. He didn't direct any of the cutscenes. The cutscenes were directed by a very, very famous Japanese film director called Kinji Fukasaku. If you don't know him, you probably have at least seen or heard of his movies. His biggest one is Battle Royale. He was actually the director for that movie. So he did all of the cutscenes for that, and he has a very much of a stylish part of, like, you know, samurai movies and like Yakuza movies and those type of things. So without further ado, I think we are ready to actually get started on the game. I hope everything is going well. Hey, Pro Eden, how you doing? Always wanted to see more from one of these games. Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you are interested in Clock Tower in any way, this is probably the worst place to start. If you really want to play a Clock Tower game and actually enjoy the spirits of what Clock Tower should be, there's actually a couple of options that you have. The first option, if you don't want to go way back and you want something around this era, is Haunting Ground. Haunting Ground is basically Clock Tower 3. It's considered by most of the fans to be a Clock Tower game. If you want something more modern, Remothered Tormented Fathers is a fantastic game that takes a lot of inspiration from PS2 era horror, like Clock Tower 3, Rule of Rose, all of those kind of games. So if you want that, Remothered Tormented Fathers is a really good one, and it has a sequel coming out in October. But I think we're going to get ready, so I'm going to explain this. It's going to be a speed run. However, we are going to be watching all of the main cutscenes. I'm not going to do all of the cutscenes because that would require me getting every single item, and it's mostly just like a ghost doing stuff, which yes, there's ghosts in this game, a lot of them, but we're going to be doing all of the main story ones. And I'm also just pressing right now just so it can start the demo video. But without further ado, I think, are we ready to get started?
Yes, we are indeed. So whenever you're ready, let's kick this off.
All right, here we go. It's starting in 3, 2, 1. So the main story is we're playing as a young girl named Alyssa, who gets a very weird telephone call from her mother that she doesn't really tell what's going on, but it's one of those things where you can tell that something is wrong. But it's a shame that most of the time when we run this in marathons and other things, we can't actually show the cutscenes because they are god tier. And you'll see why in a second.
I think of you every day. It seems such a long time since you started your life at boarding school. It was after your beloved grandfather went missing while traveling 3 years ago that I sent you away to boarding school and told you not to come back for at least 6 years, without giving you any explanation. It must have been very painful for you, and I'm sorry, but it was for your own protection. Now, your 15th birthday is approaching, and I fear your life may be in danger more than ever before. Please go into hiding until your 15th birthday has passed. I know that what I am saying will make no sense to you, but please do as I tell you and hide as quickly as you can. Your loving mother, Nancy.
Mum. Alyssa, you're wanted on the telephone. It's your mother. Hello? Mum? Hello? Are you there?
What's wrong? Answer me. Hello? Hello? Mum? Hello? Mum? Answer me.
Mum, I'm back. Mum? Excuse me. Are you one of the lodgers?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm Alyssa, Nancy's daughter. Do you know where my mother is?
Your mother has gone out. That was early yesterday morning.
Huh?
She mentioned that she would not be coming back for some time.
What?
She was wrong. She won't be coming back at all. So it's just you. You are all alone in this world now, little girl. My sweet Alyssa. I've been waiting so long for this moment.
Get away from me!
All right, so that is the oven cutscene. We have the stakes established. Our mother is missing and we need to find her. So if you don't know, this is very similar to, you know, a lot of the older school horror games. We have fixed camera angles and all of that good stuff. If you thought that cutscene was weird, oh boy, you're in for a long while. So here we have right now, this is a sigil. Basically, we need to find a way to cleanse it, and it's also a good introduction into the panic meter. Now, this game doesn't have a traditional health bar, it has a panic meter. If you see that meter in the top left, it is going to continuously fill over and over as Alyssa gets scared. She can get scared from environment, things like that, or she can get scared by enemies attempting to attack her. Now, if you get attacked by an enemy, even if it doesn't hit you, as long as it is close by, it actually will fill up her panic meter. So you're essentially taking damage. So you have to be really, really careful, and we manage it in a very specific way. We're going to be grabbing some safety items. There are items to reduce it, but we'll get into more of that later. But if that meter fills and she gets full panicked, then what happens is we lose partial control over her. She can sometimes just like stop in her tracks, which is really, really bad. And she's also vulnerable. If she gets hit by any enemy, then she dies. And then we're also going to be picking up a sacred bottle. We're not going to be reading the notes or anything like that. Essentially what the note says is that the sacred bottle has holy water and we can use it in a variety of ways. Also, if you ever played Resident Evil 4, I'm 99% sure this is the same exact crawling animation as Ashley has during her section. We actually have to use these sigils in very specific spots, so for the timing for this one is right there at the very edge of the light. But we can use that to actually break sigils. Also, if you're expecting a clock tower anytime soon, I have to say you're going to be thoroughly disappointed, because it doesn't happen for a while. So yeah, so with the holy water, we can use it for both removing those sigils on doors, and then we can also use it to temporarily stun the enemies that are going to be chasing after us. And we can also use it to activate portals. Yep, there are portals in this game. Also, I want you guys to notice the very good subtleties in this upcoming cutscene. You know, you can really tell that they handcrafted the animations and made it, you know, you can barely notice how terrified she is. So make sure to pay attention and see if you can pick up the subtleties that are going to be seen here in just a moment. Also, if you think you just heard Ari sound, you're probably correct. There are a lot of audio assets from Resident Evil in all of those games in this one. So if you guys couldn't tell, she's scared.
Who's playing that? Where's the sound coming from? Who's doing that?
Oh, that's weird. And now we're in a sewer for some reason. At least I think it's a sewer. I don't actually know. Also, we just had that happen. All right. Gonna turn right back over here, and now we are... Wait for it. If you're wondering where we teleported to, you're gonna see here in just a second. That is right. If your guess was World War II England, then congratulations, you won a prize. But that is where we are right now. So what happens is that Alyssa has some magical abilities. One of those being that her bloodline has some specific powers related to ghosts and beings and freeing them. We'll get more into that in the game later on. I'm not going to spoil the fun for you guys, but just know that we are currently in World War II era London. If you thought DMC was weird, well, it's got nothing on Clock Tower 3. You know, it's a horror game. Of course it has to have a dead body. I mean, what horror game doesn't have a dead body? But you know what every horror game doesn't have? Wait for it. Doors opening. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be, wait for it. There we go. It's gonna be a ghost. So in this game there are ghosts, and the way to get past some of them, because a few of them are optional, but a way to get past the ones that we need that are required, we need to find a specific item and return it to the ghost's corpse. So this is the first one. We need to walk over here, come down here, and then use the engagement ring on the corpse. That is going to cleanse it and basically let it pass into the beyond. And it's also going to give us an item. Some of these are required. This one actually isn't. We're picking this up. It's a sigil stone. Essentially, if Alyssa were to die, it makes it so she can tank a hit from an enemy or from a environmental trap or something like that and still live. Normally, we wouldn't pick it up during the cutscene because we don't really need it, but yeah. Also, I don't know how she's able to hear the piano from all the way over here, but she can. Also, this is another specific throw. I'm gonna skip these portal sigil kings because it's literally just the portal breaking, and we already saw that at the very beginning, and you know, this is technically a speedrun. It's the worst speedrun you can see, but yeah. So we're gonna head down here. This is one of the optional ghosts that we're gonna be coming across. They have some wonky properties and they have a lot of RNG to them, but it's out of the way right now, so we're not even gonna worry about it. Sometimes it's in front of you, sometimes it can actually grab you right there. But normally we can just run past them. They give you a little bit of panic if they grab you, so it's not game over, but it can be pretty slow. This is also gonna be another one of those throws. The holy water has a lot of range, so even though we're right over here, it's still gonna hit the door. So now we're going to be heading into Norton's Taylor, and if you thought the opening cutscene into the transition of World War II was weird, boy, we have some problems for you. Also, that sometimes happens. That's actually a game thing. We don't know why. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Did I fuck that up? All right, I did. That's another one. I'm really glad I didn't mess that up, because otherwise we would have had to spend like 30 minutes going to get some holy water. But we're good. So we're just gonna commit casual B and E and grab this key right here. Also kind of being very careful with my lines. Right here where there's no enemies, it's not that important unless, you know, we want to save some time. But later on, if you don't take specific lines, you know, things can happen really badly. So we're gonna head down there. Oh, ignore the ketchup stains on the wall. And then we're gonna try and approach this at a weird angle. There we go. If you approach it like that, then you actually you skip a little cutscene of her like walking around into a specific. Oh, I just skipped that cutscene by accident. That was total force of habit. But yeah, that's Sledgehammer. So basically that is the introduction to him. And essentially what happens is he kills a little girl named May. Now this is where the game teaches us about evade points and hide points. We're not going to be using those. Evade points are spots where we can actually get a specific cutscene to temporarily disarm the enemy, and some of them are wonky. I'm going to try and show one of them. But as you can see right there, if you saw, even though he completely missed me, it still did damage. So I'm not going to skip this next one. But essentially what happens is we find out that May is a little girl who, during World War II era, was killed by this man, who is a subordinate. So now we're going to learn about an evade point. We don't usually use these, but this one is required. So Alyssa, what she's going to do, she's going to do the smart thing of picking up this chair. Alyssa! And then she's going to football tackle him into unconsciousness. I have no idea how Alyssa is able to take down probably a 350-pound man of pure muscle and hatred. But, you know, we're just not going to worry about it. So now we have a key and an invitation to an opera house. We're gonna head to the opera house, and this is where a good majority of this level is going to be taking place. Essentially what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be trying to quell the spirit of May, the little girl who was killed by this man, and we're gonna be doing some very specific actions in order to do so. But essentially right now, our main goal is to get a specific item that has a sentimental attachment to her. Opera House would honestly be a much more fitting title. This game is not a Clock Tower game in anything but the name. The reason that they kind of chose this is probably because they had the IP, and that's about it. Also, don't worry about that moth. Alright, so now we are in the opera house. Gotta go do some exploring. It's okay, she only kills a couple of your runs like 45 minutes into the run. Okay, it's totally okay. Also, somebody spilled all of this red dye on the pianos. And again, the subtleties in the mocapping is very, very like hard to actually notice. You have to have a very keen eye to see when they're actually scared. Maybe you're not having a very good time playing if you don't clean up all that ketchup. And oh god, it's him. Alright, So we need some good luck here. Okay, we got some good luck. So if he does that swipe move before the camera angle changes, then what actually happens is we get panic. We can take one panic, but we can't take two of them. Also, we're lowering a bridge that's gonna drop a dead body, and then we're gonna raise it up again for later on. So camera angles are actually our friends. Normally they're considered bosses in other games, but camera angles are really good because they will stop you from getting panic, and they will stop you from even getting hit sometimes. So we needed to make sure we don't either, we can take one hit from him. We haven't taken Eddie yet. If we take two from him, then we get panicked, and that's really bad. Okay, let's see where he is. All right, we got really good RNG, so we're not gonna take any hits from him. So we're gonna head down here. We needed to pick up a note from that body. Even though I know the code and it's the same thing every time, she actually won't look at it until after we pick up the note. So this is where we get into the action. We're gonna be taking specific lines in order to avoid him. Sometimes it's RNG, but normally it's pretty static, or at least I've played this game enough that I actually know where everything is. We're also gonna be picking up this lavender water. This lavender water will reduce panic. You're mine now. Okay, let's see if I get good RNG. We did. So that's actually really good RNG despite my movement mess up. Sometimes he'll keep the door open for you right there. And also, I'll take the time right here. When we're in like this camera angle, no matter what, if he's behind us or anything like that, we won't take any damage. That happens a couple times. That's gonna be coming up with a trick right here. Also, he's gonna be jumping down here, so we walk over. And now this is kind of the first major like tech spot of the game. What we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be opening this doorway. That is going to push him a little bit back. It's going to close right behind us, and he has to open it up. Right when we hit the bottle, we're going to throw that on the portal sigil. We're going to open this up. He cannot hit us during this camera angle. We're going to wait for the sigil to disappear, and we're going to walk through the door, and he can't hit us. See? Nothing. And we lost him. So we're going to do a few manipulations like that. Sledgehammer is kind of the easiest one, because you don't really have to do much backtracking when you're getting chased by him, and it's routed pretty tightly. So heading on down here, I'm gonna come over here and grab the matches. Yeah, cameras are like our best friend in this game. They give you so many iframes. Also, oh man, just a sledgehammer. We're gonna walk over here. He's gonna give us good RNG and then start moving towards us immediately. If we throw the water right when he starts moving, what happens is he ends up. What happens is he basically just ends up like blocking it while he's staggered. So we let him move forward so we can crawl under. Also, he's just. Hi, buddy. He's not having a good time with us crawling over. The reason it's actually explained, but it's not just water, it is holy water.
Where are you?
If we read the note, it explains, Nancy specifically states it is magical holy water. Alright, so we're gonna be heading back downstairs right now. So we got the matches, which means we're going to be heading up to the upper balconies of this area. This is a very specific line that I have to take coming up here. If I don't, then Run would die. So let's not mess up. Alright, we're good. If you walk too close to that door, you get knocked down and you get panicked immediately, which is not fun. Alright, so we need to watch him coming up here. Gotta turn this corner. If he stops, we're good. He does. If he stops even for half a second, like he can stop for like 2 frames, and that's enough to get to this doorway without having to turn around and use the holy water on him. It doesn't kill your run, but you know, it loses you a couple of seconds. All right, my least favorite part of the entire run. We're gonna be walking over this wooden plank. There is something called stumble RNG, where Alyssa will sometimes on this thing stumble. And we already got a stumble. I hate this part. This has actually killed quite a few good runs, and I would actually have a sub 118 if I got good stumble RNG. Good stumble RNG, you can get as low as 1, and you can get as many as 7, and we already have 2. Normally, the good RNG is 4. And all of this for a pair of pliers. So the average is usually 4. I have bad luck and get 5 a lot. We have 2 though, make that 3. And it's just completely random. Like, there's nothing we can do. There's no manipulation. I got 4. I have gotten one literally at the last possible frame. Like, right about here is where I got one time. And now we have the butterflies with us, along with Sledgehammer, who just pop in here. We don't have to worry about the butterflies right here. We're gonna run past him, and now we are safe up to the first boss fight. That's right, there are boss fights in this game. Bet you didn't see that coming. Oh, it gets worse.
Where are you? You're mine now.
So right now we are heading all the way back to Norton's Taylor. And we're not going to be really taking a specific line or anything like that. So this is pretty chill. If you guys want to ask questions, here we have a good little stretch before we actually get to anything interesting.
Alyssa, where are you? Alyssa!
So I'll explain the butterflies a little bit. They only show up really in one other section where it's like noticeably dangerous. But essentially, if they touch us, they stun us. They don't fill up our panic meter, which is good, but they will be like, hey, why don't you just stand still for like 30 seconds while you're getting chased? Why is Hammer Bro chasing you? Because he likes killing people. It's kind of his thing.
Alyssa!
I know that for the future. So we can't actually pick up or do anything until after he like spawns into this area. But we're gonna come over here, we're gonna use the pliers, and we're gonna be safe. But yeah, it's explained later, but essentially he likes killing people so much that he got a job doing it for the Underworld. Alright, so we're gonna come over here, we're gonna pick up the first repellent arrow. Don't ask why we're getting a magical green glowing arrow yet. I promise you there is a good explanation. And then we're gonna open up this wooden box. Game breaking bugs, not really, neither for soft locks. This is actually a pretty standard like horror game speedrun. A lot. There is so much RNG in like every single section, especially the boss fights. That's right, there's boss fights.
You're home early.
It's not a whole lot. Like, you can get a time under 1 hour and 20 minutes pretty easily. It's a lot more difficult to get a time under 1 hour and 19 though.
I feel dreadful.
I'll be all right. But what about you?
Like, if you want to be considered a good clock tower runner, you have to beat that 119 barrier.
Yes.
If you want to be considered a clock tower runner, in general, you have to beat that 120. It's very weird.
Don't worry. Daddy, don't forget the piano concourse is on Christmas Eve. The winner will have their performance aired on the radio. I'll practice really hard and win the contest so that you can hear me when you're out in the war.
That would be wonderful. The competition will be stiff, but if you go to your lessons and practice properly, I'm sure you can do it.
I'll practice every day. I've already chosen the piece I'm going to play. Listen. You told me this watch was a present from Mummy before you got married, remember? I'll play this tune on Christmas Eve, so you can think of Mummy and me. Then it'll be like we're all together again.
Yeah, feel free to spam your Bible thumbs. I got some bad news. Also, this is a great transition. It was, you fools, it was just Call of Duty the entire time. But yeah, so now that we open up that box, we have a maze item. We told you about earlier that if you return an item to a ghost, it helps them move into the beyond. So essentially, Sledgehammer is a killer who got hanged. He ended up killing May, and she never learned that her father actually died, so that's why her spirit is continuously playing the piano in hopes that he will come back to her. But again, you know, Sledgehammer is so good at his job that he basically just got like a free pass to do whatever he wants. But he does work for a specific person. He's not a very good employee. This is essentially like, he's like a temp agent where it's just like, hey, we have no one else to do and no one wants to do this task. You know, can you just throw it at him, see what happens? Maybe he'll get lucky. All right, now we're gonna be heading back to that piano area where we saw the girl in Cherry Juice covered earlier, and then we should be good to go, right? I'm sure nothing bad will happen on the way there. Oh, hey, a cutscene.
You figured me out, little girl. They thought they got rid of me that day on the gallows, but they were wrong. Little May was only the beginning.
Why? Why did you kill her?
You're next.
Oh, what's this? Oh, boss battles. I'm sure we don't need to read that. That'll be fine. I'm sure that it doesn't have any explanation as to what's going to happen here next. Oh, hey, look. Oh, hey. Hey, she's T-posing. This is how you actually defeat the bosses. You just T-pose and assert dominance on them. Oh, look, that's our bottle that we used to splash holy water. Are you guys getting all this? Is this all making sense to you guys? All right, so here we go, Sledgehammer. So what we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna be doing some specific movement in order to get him to swing at us and to get enough distance. We need to charge up our arrow shot at least 5 times to lock him down.
Alisa!
We got good RNG there, so now he is stunned. That's gonna tether him down for some fun times. Continue doing this. We're just gonna slowly chip away at his health bar until something happens that you guys are probably going to enjoy. There we go. And he's dead. That is right, you just saw Alyssa, a 14-year-old schoolgirl, using a magical bow and arrow to send down a giant death laser from the heavens fit for a Final Fantasy game. And he turns into a piece of a necklace, the Clover of Love. And it also has the good effect of boosting our holy water's size from 3 to 4. That's actually important. We actually time a good amount of our refills, because even if you're at 0, it will refill you up to the max once you hit the, once you upgrade the capacity. So usually it's after every boss fight, but sometimes we do need to get it otherwise. Imagine how confused she is. Imagine how confused I am. I have about 100 hours in this game, probably even more. With world record, I've played through this casually multiple times. I still am confused. And just so you guys know, playing the other games is not going to like explain any of this. So don't be like, oh yeah, this is just the third one of the game. Of course you're not going to understand it. Nope, it's just as confusing.
Please don't cry. I understand how you feel. I never even knew my father. I lost him soon after I was born, but I love my grandfather just the way you love your father.
I also don't know how she's touching a ghost. Doesn't make much sense.
Watch as a memento of your father and continue to practice the piano as hard as you can. You know that would make him happy.
It's literally a Sixth Sense thing.
May.
Oh.
Daddy!
Thank you, May. Your beautiful playing has brought me back to you. At last, we can be together again. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you.
I wish I was the fly on the wall so badly during development.
Goodbye, Mr. Norton. Goodbye.
Then they just float away up the stairs.
Goodbye.
And she passes out. That's gonna happen a lot. I even bother with the stairs if you float. But it turns out it was all a dream. Is she okay? She just had the worst acid trip in her entire life.
What was that?
It could not have possibly gone worse.
Have I been dreaming?
So we're not going to save any of the game data. Because the good thing is this game doesn't crash or have any weird soft locks or anything like that. And if you die, you have continue. So we're going to be okay.
Dennis? What are you doing here?
Pull me up! Hurry!
So this is Dennis. In the words of my friend Dicey's on the best way to describe him, he is the discount Ron Weasley.
Alyssa. I haven't seen you since we were in primary school together. It must be 3 years?
What do you think you're doing entering a lady's residence through a window?
I have to give you something. Here it is.
It's
We
the
don't
key
learn
to
the
my
answer to
grandfather's
that.
room. Mother always has this key with her. What are you doing with it? You saw her? When? And where?
Calm down, calm down. It was yesterday morning and your mother drove by in her car. Oops. And she said you might come back from
How do
boarding
you
school
describe the
and asked me
vocab
to hand
actors
that
here?
key to you if you wasn't back in time.
She must have known I'd disobey her and come back here. She must have gone up to meet me. We just missed each other.
Hey, Alyssa, you've really changed since I last saw you.
I'm going to go and check my grandfather's room.
Hey!
Well, it looks like you've grown up too, Dennis.
Oh, come on. That was then and this is now.
Wait
Wait a minute,
I
would
don't
you?
know how to describe it. They gave the actors LSD and recorded the actions. That's probably pretty accurate. I mean, to be fair, this is like one of the very first mocapped games. So it's gonna be a little rough around the edges, but like, oh my goodness. Yeah, so if you don't know, I'm actually going to be running this game for ESA, minus the cutscenes, and it's still going to be just as weird. And Tally is the one who is going to be couching for me. And I gave her the cruel task of explaining the story for this game while I play. So sorry, Tally. I hope you're doing your homework on this.
Murders. Teenage
So we read through this, and basically, Alyssa's bloodline, when they are young teens before their 18th birthday, they are called rooters. Rooters are women who are able to cleanse entities and help free spirits and ghosts, and help them move on to the afterlife. That's where her magical bottle powers came from. An entity is a person who controls subordinates like Sledgehammer and a few others, and he is trying to gain immortality by controlling them to get to a rooter.
You want to look for your mother? But she was in a car, remember? She could be anywhere by now.
She's nearby. I can tell.
What do you mean?
It doesn't matter. Just go
Yeah, again, the film director and the game director are two different people. The film director actually worked on all of these cutscenes, which is why it's like this, because that's very much his style. He did a lot of Yakuza samurai movies. He did Battle Royale, which has some similar stuff like this.
You mean Linda? Isn't she traveling?
Yeah. She's working as a nurse at a refugee camp in Africa. In her last letter, she said she won't be back for at least another 6 months, so I'm free to babysit, walk dogs, look for missing mothers.
Okay. You can check upstairs while I look downstairs.
Yes, boss. Hey, one more thing. Isn't it your birthday tomorrow?
Huh? My birthday?
See, even after
She also
all this
forgot
time, I
her
still
birthday,
remember.
and some random Ron Weasley kid remembered it. Also, I'm gonna show something at the end of this.
Now check upstairs.
I'm gonna double check with the tech to make sure it's okay. But essentially, this game has some alternate costumes when you beat the game. And if you know anything about Capcom games, you kind of know my hesitation there. But basically, this game has some interesting alternate costumes, and along with that, it's like it's a Japanese horror game. There's always going to be a little bit of weirdness. Exactly. That's why it's like really messed up and confusing. And the weird thing is like so basically, if you guys don't know, the American costumes are very, I guess lewd is the word, like very similar to the Haunting Ground costumes. But the weird thing is, usually that's like the Japanese versions, and then they censor them for the American versions. Here it's the opposite. The Japanese costumes are actually like totally normal. One of them is even her in a Santa Claus one. But the other ones are just like, just weird, especially since the character's underage. She's like 14 in this game, and she hasn't been home for 2 years, which means in her closet they were there when she was 12. And I don't get Capcom sometimes. Like, I love Capcom, they make some of my favorite games, but then they do stuff like this. But anyway, we're gonna be putting the winding keys into this clock tower here. Don't worry, there's another one, and that's gonna open a secret room. We're also going to be throwing some water here. I promise I'm not wasting it. In fact, we're going to be using this portal sigil. So again, I told you guys there were portals in this game. If you guys have played that Valve game, we are now thinking with portals. Alright, so another quick little thing is, depending on certain areas and certain actions, Alyssa will automatically aim at different objects. Like sometimes she'll aim at enemies or other things like that, so we don't actually have to turn around ourselves. It's way faster. Also, we're going to be avoiding that ghost. We're going to be taking a kind of, not a specific line here, but we're going to be keeping an eye out for the ghosts because they can actually phase through walls like that, and we're good. If they don't have their arms up, they won't actually go after you. But if they do, then they will try to grab you. Also, don't ask where we are because I have no idea.
Who are you? What are you doing here? Answer me! What's that? What's that? What's going on? Mother, where have you got to? Say something. Mother.
All right, I hope you got all of that, but that was a blind man. Oh, we got another cutscene here. This is actually called Cutscene Hallway because we have to skip so many cutscenes during the speedrun. But essentially, like, for 30 seconds, it's just like black screens.
Albert, where on earth have you got to? I've been waiting for you, waiting. Albert, is that you?
So I get that they're blind or why are their eyes big? You'll find out. This game actually has a pretty tightly wrapped story where it pretty much answers everything. Also, yeah, so that happens. And then we have one more cutscene here, and then we'll be good to go finally. We have that ghost right there. Not too bad. All right, so we actually have some RNG here. We're gonna get a prompt and it's gonna be a yes or a no. It is completely random which one it's on. Like, it's completely random. I'm not even kidding. And we got bad RNG. Sometimes it's on yes, sometimes it's on no. Obviously, if it's on yes, it's faster. But we literally have no idea why. I think it has something to do with how many games you clear and like the memory on that. But we can't figure it out. It's the only one in the entire game that is like that. And it is very annoying because there have been times where I've literally lost runs because I assumed it was going to be on one and it was on the other. We're going to grab this key right here. We actually got good RNG for the ghost. Sometimes it is literally blocking us right in front of the doorway and we can't see it because of the camera angle, but we're okay now. Now we have the kitchen key, which is right here. So we have found a photographer. And the main thing that we need to do with him is we need to do the same thing that we did with some of the other ghosts. We need to cleanse his spirit by bringing an item that has significant value to it. So what else can we do for a person with a camera who is a photographer? Well, obviously the only thing that they like is photography. So we're going to be bringing over some film for him. Also, fun fact, this actually does refill your holy water, which is kind of cool and kind of important because we needed it to. It's very weird, but like, I'll take it. Also, hey, look, it's Alyssa's mom. And she's gone. But it's okay because she left behind a key. Don't ask why, we can pick it up here. Alyssa has a very long reach. We call it extendo arms. But yeah, it can pick up certain items through some very ridiculous spots. And trust me, that's not even the worst one. There's some ones that are really, really bad. But you know, it's obviously good for the speedrun. So now we are heading back to our mansion. And this is essentially going to be us getting the film by finding a secret area in our grandfather's study, which we were in earlier when we were talking to Dennis and we found the keys and the routers and all that stuff. But yeah, essentially Alyssa is 14 and she is a rooter. So which means when she turns 15, that is when her power is going to be at its like max capacity. So that is very important to know. And an entity is a very powerful but very sinister being who controls subordinates. And subordinates and rooters have been fighting for a long time. This is supposedly going back like centuries. And also our grandfather, who Alyssa loves dearly and we keep on mentioning, has been missing for a couple of years now and hasn't returned home, hasn't called, hasn't done any of that. We're gonna grab a mask from right there, we're gonna hang it right here. And we find another secret room. It really makes you wonder if her grandfather has it and her mom has it. I wonder if Alyssa has one. Imagine literally being called subordinates. Yeah, I wouldn't be too happy with that title. So we essentially learn in this dialogue, I'm gonna skip it because it's literally just him talking.
Family.
Basically saying like, I don't believe in rooters, they're weirdos. Like, that's all ridiculous, but I love this woman, so I'm gonna marry her. Despite her being essentially a schizophrenic, saying that she fights magical beings with a bow and arrow that turns from a bottle. This game doesn't make any sense.
Leave it to me, Grandpa. I have the same Rooter strain in my blood as my mother. I can save Dorothy and Albert. Then and only then will I be
Dorothy
able
and
to
Albert are the blind people that we ran into earlier.
I'm sure that's the way, isn't it?
So Dorothy and Albert were the, people we just met, the ones with the bells. We also met May and Mr. Norn. That was the piano playing girl and her father. There's Dennis, who is Ron Weasley. Alyssa here. Nancy is her mom. Dick is her grandfather. And Sledgehammer was Sledgehammer. And I think I got all the characters. Oh yeah, at the very beginning there was that guy who was wearing the weird trench coat, who said we're never gonna see our mother again. That was the Dark Man. That is his canonical real name. Now that we have our film, which we just happened to find conveniently in his office, we can now return back to where Dorothy and Albert were. I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is there is a scissor man in this game. The bad news is there is a scissor man in this game. But anyway, we have returned back to the body. We're gonna come into here and we're gonna use the film. Oh dear is right. Yes, there's also a scissor woman. So we learned that this photographer was actually finding out about a specific string of murders, and we also learned of a hidden switch behind a painting. Now we're gonna go to that hidden switch and we're gonna unlock the rest of the level. And it's right behind this painting. We actually cannot touch this painting until we do all of that. Even though Alyssa says it looks crooked and I probably should fix it. Alright, I'm gonna do a quick safety save because there's something that I want to do. I don't think it's gonna break anything, but I just want to basically be safe just in case, make sure there's nothing going wrong. Because this game is actually timed in RTA, we don't actually save at all or do anything like that. Even though there is an in-game timer, when you beat this game, that timer resets to 0, which means we can't use it. Otherwise, it would actually be a very accurate timer to time because it literally times everything but loading screens. It times your menu, it times everything but loading screens, so it's like literally perfect and we can't use it. But anyway, we're gonna head over here. And we're gonna get my favorite cutscene. I'm just gonna let you guys watch this.
Albert, are you here? Albert?
Mother, what are you doing? I told you you shouldn't wander around outside herself.
I came to tell you that dinner's ready, and I told you that you don't need to be worried about me. Your old mother may have dicky eyes, but she's not on her last legs.
She has dicky eyes, everyone.
You just concentrate on your work. Anyway, what is it you're making this time? Some new toy that'll have the local kids agog, I bet.
Actually, I've been busy making this.
Aw, how sweet.
Albert, what's this?
Winter's coming, and I don't want you catching cold.
I wish I was as good of a son who knew how to knit and create things that I could make a shawl for my mom. Man, this is so nice and wholesome.
So warm and soft. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's enough playing happy families. You make me sick.
So this is Kuroda, everyone. He is a person who loves what he does. He loves his job. They say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, and I think that is true for Kuroda right here. It's time for the acid bath. See, that is the problem with this game. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, if it's supposed to be horror, if I'm supposed to be terrified, I don't know. But what we're gonna do right here is the moment we spawn in, we are gonna be mashing our holy water, and that is going to burn him. For some reason, it just completely sets him on fire. And we're gonna head into here. I'm gonna grab this key right here. So this is the second one. So I'm gonna show what I did. This is the reason I made the save file. I wanted to show you guys an evade point. Normally we don't use this, but this is a really good one. You saw the one with the chair and where she tackled Sledgehammer. Lines him like a cartoon. I don't know why they... So that is that evade point. This is a horror game. Also, he's gonna be around this corner. Don't throw the water at him, and I think everything should be okay. So it's good to know that that evade point doesn't do anything. He is there even if we do the evade point. So right now, what we're gonna be doing here, we're gonna use this toolbox to get this wrench. This is the highest RNG part coming up, and I'm gonna play it very safe. So we're gonna rush right through when he opens the door for us, very convenient. This is like, this part has killed more runs than any other part in the entire game. He also has the worst and hardest boss fight too. So he's gonna come out of here. We're gonna try and burn him before he hits us. Okay, that's fine. He like will follow us down and panic and hit and knock us down, and overall he is really difficult to get through. Even to my PB, I lost like 15 seconds here, but we should be fine from now on. If you don't throw the water though, sometimes he won't even hit you, and sometimes he will completely kill you. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna crawl through the fan. Again, this is also, I'm pretty sure, the same animation that they use for Ashley and RE4. Yeah, what Protean says, he has the worst, hardest boss. Whenever I do PBs, I have such a good time. I don't want to sound like braggy, but my time is very good. And the only way I can save time is if I'm like 30 seconds going out of this boss fight. So we're gonna throw another water at him. Conveniently, we end up with 0, which is fine. There's also a ghost down here that that grabs us, that's okay. That's some bad RNG. It's completely random where that ghost is, and because of the angle, we can't really predict where they are. So I kind of just go the one that's the most consistent, which is where you just rush past and hug that wall. Sometimes the ghost is near the bottom of the stairs, and that's actually good because they're easy to avoid, but it's not a big deal if you get panic here. At least it shouldn't be. Alright, so we need to walk on these specific planks. If we walk on the other ones, we fall into the water and we get a jump scare. It's actually what you have to do for 100% because then it unlocks another ghost. And here we go. We now have the item that is tied to, I forgot her name, Dorothy. And this is going to allow us to create that magical bow again and start the second boss fight of this game. Well, you are very good at expecting things because that is literally what is happening right now.
I found you!
So we're just going to be heading back right now. We should be okay. Sometimes he will move very fast and bump into us, but thankfully that didn't happen. And now we are going to be starting the second boss fight of the game. This is the worst boss fight. There is so much RNG. So if you guys don't know, when I'm aiming my bow and arrow, I cannot move left or right. I have to be locked into that angle.
I'll destroy you.
So you're probably thinking, why didn't Sledgehammer move left or right? Well, that is how these bosses beat us. So essentially he can move left or right, and it's absolutely terrible. This boss fight is the worst thing, and it is the bane of my existence. But it's okay, because she's gonna T-pose on him, and because she has now asserted dominance, we're gonna win this fight no problem. All right, let's get ready for this. Also, almost every song in this game is an absolute banger. There is one that I'll point out that's really bad. So right now we're gonna hit him right there. We need to at least get 3 charges to knock him back. We need 6 charges total to stun him like that.
Prepare to die!
So give us prepare to die. This might be bad. I think we're okay. We don't want to activate our super move too early, and depending on his movement, yeah, we activated it really early. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Yeah, that's what I think every time. They actually don't have very high kill counts for being like evil dudes. I think it's more about like how they do it rather than like how many people they do it to. Because if you read the notes, he basically like just killed a lot of his co-workers.
There she is!
In like very gruesome ways.
There she is! Prepare to die!
Yeah, when he says prepare to die, that is like best RNG. Because he's a guaranteed shot, and so far he hasn't moved like at all, which is very nice.
There she is!
I'm also not gonna do. Alright, so that's what I was talking about. I'm actually surprised we hit that. There we go. That wasn't a terrible fight, actually. That was pretty decent for being a corroder fight. Well, if Corroder can't defeat a 15-year-old schoolgirl who has never wielded a bow in her life, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a chance against Goku. Yeah, he turns into a magical pixel jewelry piece. Again, please don't ask me to explain this game. And we're gonna find the Clover of Courage. We have the Clover of Love, the Clover of Courage, and then we have to find a couple more. Why do we have to find these? I have no idea. It has something to do with the necklace that she was given by her mom, but I honestly cannot remember the reason why right now. So that's why you want me to be able to explain this game? Exactly. I have no idea how to explain this game or concise it down while I'm also playing. Like, Tally, again, is a very great commentator. I'm really excited to have her with me on my runs, but yeah, she essentially what I'm doing is I'm sending her into the auto shop and asking them to pick me up some headlight fluid. I explained this game. I wish, because then we could play Okami, but unfortunately that's not what's gonna happen.
I can see.
But we got the shawl back, and now that they can finally see again. She no longer has dicky eyes.
Mother. I waited so long for you.
And look at that, isn't that so sweet?
Is the winter shawl you knitted for me?
Mother, I can see too.
They found his brands. Don't worry, there's not going to be Kuroda bursting into the room and killing them horribly to kill the mood and the pacing.
Dorothy, Albert.
They did, but that was a flashback. This is them as ghosts. And again, they're gonna float away. See, they don't need the stairs this time. They're not like Norn and May.
Goodbye.
Uh-oh. So, you guys know how this game's called Clock Tower, right? Well, I got some good news.
Quite a feat destroying 2 subordinates. The Ruder strain appears especially strong within you, Alyssa.
Again, we're not gonna save. Nope, not yet. This is a real bump. And see, she's having fun. She's enjoying this horrendous scene. Keep in mind, this is not a dream.
Alicia, this is no longer your home. This is the dark realm where I rule. In 2 hours, the clock will strike midnight, and your 15th birthday will arrive. When that happens, you and I will become one.
Let me tell you guys, when it comes to Alyssa, you're never gonna forget her devil's power.
My 15th birthday?
Are you looking forward to it? So am I,
She's gonna show you guys what a daughter to Spartan can do.
Soon we two will be united forever.
She's 14, yes.
2 of our number, but your
Which makes us
mother
even
was killed
creepier.
by a subordinate long ago.
That's a very common thing, though. If you play the Clock Tower games, there's a lot of creepiness in it. This is actually pretty much the biggest, like, on-theme thing. Like, if you think this is creepy, Clock Tower PS1 had a literal not one. They had a child molester, and then they had a guy who was in his 30s dating a 17-year-old. Haunting Ground is like this thematically as well, but that actually takes the game very seriously, and it's also, Fiona is a 19-year-old college student. And it also plays in the themes of vulnerability with her actual game. This game is literally just some Capcom dude being horny on main, and this is probably the most prominent example. For some reason, they chose this angle. Anyway, now we are in the sewers, and we're also going to meet our new subordinate. One second here. He's probably my favorite, I would say. Yes, I know. It can't be Corroder. I love him thematically and story-wise, but he has wasted too many hours of my life for me to actually have anything but contempt for him. Also, you're gonna learn something. Chopper's voice actor in the cutscenes is very, very different from his voice in game.
Alyssa, you might have defeated the others, but you're no match for me.
And I just forgot this until now because it's been so long since I watched these. Also, he can do that. Alright, so we're gonna run past him here. So you guys heard his voice, right?
Oh, nice trick.
Does that sound like the voice we heard in the cutscenes? So he is probably the most specific movement when you're being chased by him out of any other killer, so we're gonna have to be very careful with how we take corners and a lot of things like that. We're also gonna have to make sure we pay attention and listen to the audio to figure out what RNG patterns he's giving us. More pictures of Corroder. He's doing the Batman thing. Also, he's gonna be right here with us. We're gonna walk in a very specific way. So he gets lined up with this wall, and he starts to swing at us right here. And that way, he's not gonna be blocking us, and we can take a wide angle around him. Hopefully. Oh god, that's bad. I'm gonna throw up. Oh god, this is really bad.
You can't get away!
If this goes up anymore, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use one of these holy waters that they got. Thankfully, he can't chase us into here. So we need to do some very specific movements and a lot of other stuff. So that's an example of what can happen. That would have just killed my run right there. This was a actual attempt. So this one, he's gonna show up in a specific camera angle change. You need to be positioned in just the right way. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up this crowbar and then immediately when it lets us, I'm gonna spam the key, there we go, the holy water. And then we can just run past him. Sometimes he'll hit us there, sometimes he won't. It kind of just depends on how close you take that angle. You actually don't want to take it too like immediately because otherwise she'll activate it too early and he'll be too close. But yeah, for some reason, Chopper's voice actor and Chopper's mocap is completely different. I feel like it has something to do with they were just like too lazy to redub the lines and do the mocap stuff for them. So they're just like, no one's gonna notice. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to gain power to a door which has an electronic lock. So we need to turn back on the electricity, we need to get the key card, and then we need to turn on the electricity again. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That was a little closer. He usually is. This is not great, but it should be fine. Corroder is pretty strong, but is he like Chopper who literally walked on a wall? Also, this is the easiest boss, the easiest ghost in the entire game. The ghost is never here. That's the corpse, and this is the item we need to bring back to him. Imagine being like spending an eternity as a ghost in a sewer, trying to rekindle with your glasses, only to realize that they're 5 feet away. is going to give us a, or she. It's weird because ghosts for some reason are all the same gender. Even the guy ones have female ghosts. I don't know why. Also, catch.
Catch!
There's some good voice lines. There's a couple of contenders for the best ones. It's very much a Team Jacob versus Team Edward situation with a lot of these guys. Looks like we got the good RNG patterns. Sometimes he will be in front of us and we need to use 2. Sometimes he'll be behind us and we only need to use 1. I'm gonna play this a little safe. Only I would rush past him, but I won't. The camera angles here can be a little finicky, so I just wanted to make sure that you know, we see him on camera before I move on. Usually during speedrun attempts, I just go through and hope for the best, though. Alright, we're gonna have the most egregious item grab in this entire game coming in a second. I told you how she has extendo arms. Well, her extendo arms are very, very noticeable. You see that arrow? We're not gonna pick it up yet. And you're probably thinking like, oh, it's right there. Why do we not pick it up? Well, we pick it up. Hold on. There we go. You pick it up through the floor. That is right. That's the same arrow. It's not like a magical one or anything like that. That is the same arrow, and we grab it through the stairs. Well, there we go. That was the sewers. And now we are in a house that is very similar to our old one, but it's just a little bit different. Oh, you'll find out later. I'm sure he's okay.
Mum? Is that you? Where are you? Mum.
Alyssa, my sweet baby. This necklace has been handed down in the Hamilton family for generations.
You know what that means. If it's wholesome.
One each for love, friendship, hope, and courage. These 4 leaves together lead the wearer to true happiness.
That's Alyssa. What are you talking about? To be, that's actually a pretty good model. I mean, there's been some games with some really weird ones.
Oh, you're laughing. Philip, darling, father, Alyssa has laughed for the first time.
You're laughing. A man has fallen into the river of Lego City, Alyssa, and you're laughing.
What he's doing, Dick?
Grandpa!
Stop, Dick! Don't do this!
Uh-oh. He is. His name is Dick.
Why did Nancy have to
Dick
marry
Gross.
a man like you? A man with no spine, no spirit?
Oh, I love that line. His voice actor is my favorite. He is a man who put in a performance. hey, Chopper. Okay, so this upcoming boss fight is the worst one in the entire game because it is very simple, but it has the highest amount of RNG, and you can lose so much time just because of no reason. Essentially, we need him to stand in a line and throw an axe at us, and he doesn't. He never does. It's so rare for it to happen that, like, no matter what, I always take a 10-second time loss here. Also, we were on the balcony, and then we're doing the T-posing thing on one side of the courtyard. So we've already been into 2 completely different spots in like 3 seconds. But it's okay because, you know, we were gonna T-pose on him. Teleportation seems normal next to everything else. But wait, we're gonna teleport for a 3rd time because that's not where we start the fight. Alright, so ideally we need him to run in a straight line into us.
Come on!
Bad luck.
You can't get away! Come on! You can't get away! Cut!
Right, so we got 6 charges, we finally have bound him.
Come on!
This is what I was talking about. If this was a real PB attempt,
You can't get away!
I would have already lost like 45 seconds. It wouldn't even be worth continuing.
Come on!
Because the thing is about this fight is
You can't get
it
away!
actually ends when we bind him. We don't need to kill his entire health bar.
Come on!
So it's a really short fight. I think at my PB it's,
You can't get away!
including me skipping the cutscenes, it's like 30 seconds.
This is the last one!
It's exactly like Xenoblade Chronicles. Uh-oh.
You are going to suffer the same fate as all the rest!
Don't worry about it, Alyssa. It's fine. Just slowly sink into it. If you guys have played Death Stranding, it's probably really familiar to you. Pretty much the same context. Pretty much just as confusing. T-posing didn't work. She couldn't assert enough dominance. But yeah, so upcoming here, Chopper's chase is probably the hardest part out of this entire game. Or one of the hardest parts, I should say. It's a very difficult thing to do. Alright, so we have a note from our grandfather being like, hey, I killed Alyssa's father, he was a wuss, aha, I'm gonna go become an entity, maybe, I'm gonna at least get power for immortality, haha. He also heavily implies that he loves Alyssa more than his own daughter. That's another thing. Alright, so now we have some interpretive dancing. I've never been to the ballet, so I have no idea. Again, essentially all of these people are former rooters and Alyssa's ancestors.
I was killed by an entity and have been trapped in the darkness ever since.
What pain? Help! Help me! It's too dark to see anything. Where am I? Tell me where I am.
Those cursed entities. I just wish I could be resurrected to fight them.
What a shame. A subordinate stole my heart from me, and the entities used it to perform the ritual of engagement. Wait! What is the ritual of engagement? Tell me! Tell me what's going on!
Let me tell you, as a fan of Fatal Frame, typically rituals in horror games don't go very well together. But yeah, so that happened. So there was a mention of the ritual of engagement. I'm also gonna grab this item just for safety because this area really sucks. This is a lavender water. So again, it's gonna calm us down if we are panicking. So this is the worst song in the game. It pretty much drones on and on. So, and this also, next area is pretty boring. We're literally just gonna be doing a puzzle that just takes time. It's not very difficult or interesting. So in the meantime, if you guys are interested, make sure to check out the donations. And if you have a little bit of money and you can, make sure to give for Doctors Without Borders. Today we are attempting to hit 2K, and you guys have been absolutely amazing so far, pretty much completely killing it. So we'll see that we're so close to that goal. Make sure to help out if you can. If not, then watching is more than enough. So right now we're going to be heading over here. We need to basically pick up these stones. I'm going to get grabbed here. Let's see if I can avoid it. We basically need to move around these stones. We can only carry one at a time. And there's a ghost in front of every single one. And they're very annoying. This area you can lose like 5 seconds for absolutely no reason. So we're gonna head back up here. Are rituals ever a good thing? Nope. They are never a good thing. Alright, so now we're gonna be coming over here. We're also gonna grab another arrow, which is good because we got some bad RNG anyway, so we need to wait. If they're in the corridor, they will grab you and you have to use a holy water, and it's just like cost time. This background is very bad, honestly. This is the only non-banger of a song in the entire game. So yeah, so the blue and the red ghosts aren't too bad. They normally don't block me. The worst one is the one that we're gonna be coming up to in just a minute, which is the yellow one. If you guys have ever played Pac-Man, these are essentially the ghost of all. This is what happens when you turn all of them blue and eat them alive. They turn into these guys. And it's also weird because these are rooters, but they're still trying to kill Alyssa, who is also a rooter. You think that they would be kind of like a good ghosts, but not. Alright. It's not comment. Thank you for calling me professional. I'm about as professional as you can get playing a game like this, so thank you. Here we go, we're gonna splash the holy water on them. We have to do it twice because they're gonna be stuck in this area, which is not fun. We got the C ones. It's very easy to do on your casual playthrough. The blue stone goes with the blue ghost, the yellow stone goes with the yellow ghost, etc. It just, I spent like 20 minutes here before I realized that you could set the stone up above in that area, so that was fun. But yeah, I'll talk about this in this time. If you've been noticing me picking up these green arrows, we've been picking up green ones, we're gonna be picking up red ones. This is very important because the way that it works is that you cannot select the arrows manually. It is whatever is your most recent arrow is going to be the one that you use next. So because of this, we actually need to use these arrows in a very specific way. So what these arrows allow us to do is a couple of things. The repellent arrows do more damage, and they also push the subordinates away. The binding arrows are the same as a 6-charge arrow, but only immediate. So it binds them immediately and, you know, makes it so it's like that little orb thing and string and all that stuff. So we need to pick them up in a very specific way, otherwise we lose the proper order in order to defeat the final boss. The final boss is the most tech-heavy boss in the entire game. You know, most of these bosses are essentially get good RNG and time your charges. The final boss has a very, very specific strat. And if you're going for world record attempts, if you don't do that very specific strat, you're losing 20 seconds right there, and you basically just can't get it. Like, I would say I'm ideally, like, I can only save maybe 20, 30 seconds at most off my world record time. It's just basically RNG. So if anything goes wrong at the final fight, like you can't do anything about it. All right, the good thing is though, this song is almost done. So we picked up a plate right there. This is the hardest area for one reason. We cannot use a single holy water on Chopper. We can't. We cannot use it to stun him, so we just have to essentially dodge and tank his attacks. And it's also completely random, so there's no specific strategy. You kind of just have to know the patterns, know how it feels. But the reason for that is we use 2 holy waters to power the portal right there. Then we walk off a little bit and use 2 to power it on the way back, because this needs to be powered when we are heading back. All right, and now for the Chopper fight. The good thing is we have like 6 or 7 healing items. We normally only use 2. We can even get away with 1.
You can't get away!
Ooh, good job, Alyssa.
Now you know, Alyssa. This is what happens to those who dare to stand against us. Nancy is not the only one. This graveyard is full of the bones of those who I have destroyed.
You're lying!
Now, prepare to hand over your heart. The ritual of engagement will begin.
So if you don't know, that is Nancy's car. And this is the reveal that Chopper actually killed Nancy's mom. Alright, so what we're going to do here is when he swings at us, the reason we're doing this is because until the swing fully finishes, it will not panic us. However, if we use the invisible ring that turns us temporarily invisible, it gets rid of the moths so they don't stun us, and it kind of cancels out his attack so he doesn't panic us. We need to press 3 switches here. And this is like a really difficult one. Where is he? That's not a good pattern. It's fine if he hits us a little bit. Again, we are in a pretty good spot. He gave us a weird pattern. Is that throw at me? Throw at me? Nope, he's not gonna throw at me. I'm gonna use another. I'm gonna use a lavender water. So as you can see, that is lowering my panic. That's fine.
Catch!
Also fine. Because when we throw this onto the water, it is going to cancel out his attack. Sometimes you actually do get the panic from the attack anyway, and then he can just do another one immediately because it's you know, it cancels it out. But we got decent RNG here.
Yeah.
Gonna throw it again. And it was a little rough. That was a pretty bad pattern he gave me. He spent a lot of time and he was very late in actually following me. Okay. I got stuck on that grave. I have lost runs to that grave because I get stuck on that corner. So we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. And yeah, you guys can clap for that because that was very difficult. But we did it. We got the sigil. We have the 2 stone pieces. And now we are good to go to find something else. So we're gonna be inserting the compass of light into this graveyard. Again, I don't know how Alyssa knows how to do this, but we're just gonna let it happen. And this is really the only refill we need to do that's out of place. Normally after most boss fights, it refills it automatically. However, because we don't actually get any more upgrades, 5 is the max for the entire game, we actually don't get any more upgrades, and therefore we have to manually refill the water. Chopper looks like Necro from Street Fighter 3. I mean, the game director for this game literally worked on Street Fighter 3. He was a production designer. So maybe that's where the inspiration came from. But yeah, we have another portal. This is also going to be our introduction to the binding arrows, the red arrows that essentially act as a 6 charge, which bind the subordinates in place. So there we go.
If thy true desire is to become an entity, there is no purer path than this. Remove the heart of a 15-year-old ruler of the same bloodline, and before the beat of our heart is stilled, drink deeply of her blood. Thus will the ritual of engagement be completed, and the dark power of the entity shall be thine.
What? That's why they're talking about my heart. But who? Who wants to drink my blood to become an entity? Who would do this?
So yeah, we now learned the ritual of engagement is essentially eating Alyssa's still beating heart. Also, so this actually isn't a weapon that we use. This is the Rooter arrow, which is not an actual arrow. We can't use it ourselves, which is unfortunate. But it's essentially what allows us to use our magical arrow powers to save the old Rooters who are ghosts. So this is going to be the first time that we actually use a special arrow. We're going to use it on Chopper to manipulate his AI to give us the best pattern as fast as he can. This does mean, like, you can do this boss fight and get good RNG and not have to use the arrow, but it's just so much easier if you just do it with an arrow.
Alyssa! What chance does a pathetic little girl like
Also,
you
he
have to
has
bring
his
salvation to
other
the
voice
dead
actor
Ruders?
here.
None!
Again, I don't know why he has to. But it's okay, guys, because you know what happens if they say something doesn't work the first time, just try again until eventually it happens. So Alyssa is going to attempt to assert dominance with the T-pose, and let's see how Chopper responds. So surprisingly, this fight is significantly easier than the very first fight of the game, or than the very first Chopper fight, I should say. In fact, I would say as long as you don't completely whiff, this is probably the easiest fight in the game. And now that I said that, I'm going to completely screw up, so giving you preparation for that. There we go. So as you see, he's going to throw an arrow or an axe at us now. Stumps him long enough to get into the bind, and now this should be a pretty quick and easy fight. We actually do want him to throw one or two axes at us before we bind him, because that does extra damage and it kind of gets him into a better position. He's having a fun time. I love his screams. But yeah, as you can see, that is probably the easiest fight in the entire game. And now, as you can see in the top left, we have 3 green arrows and a red arrow. Keep that in mind for later boss fights. Most of the arrows that we use are on the final boss, but we need to use 3 green arrows in total before him. We use 1 of them on Chopper right here, and then we use 2 on another subordinate.
This is the last one!
didn't work again. This is kind of awkward. Wait a minute. Oh, we're good. Just a little bit of a delay reaction. Again, like a samurai movie where they slice through them and they're still standing for like an extra 10 seconds before they fall over. Same energy we have right here. And he turns into a pink sparkly piece of jewelry that Alyssa wears on her neck. Just totally normal 14-year-old behavior.
We're saved. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. Destroy the subordinates.
Don't let the ritual of engagement happen. Goodbye. Bye.
Again. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Mom?
Aww.
Well done, Alyssa.
We found our mom. And now it's gone. Okay, this is a weird part of the game.
It's not that easy, Alyssa.
I don't know how you can hold a ghost hostage.
You will carry out the ritual of engagement to become an entity.
It doesn't make any sense. How do you hold a ghost in your arms? Also, this plane doesn't really work too well because these guys have been trying to murder us the entire time during the entire game, and yet he wants us alive because otherwise the ritual engagement doesn't work. So if they killed us, then his plan would be foiled. Also, Dennis is just here for some reason.
Alyssa, are you all right? I've been looking everywhere for you.
Through time and space, man, get you a man like Dennis. He was going to go through parallel dimensions in fever dreams to find you.
What's this?
My mum used to cherish this four-leaf clover necklace, but one of the leaves is missing. This is my last chance to see my mother again. I can't defeat the entity without all four leaves.
Alyssa, it'll be okay. I'm here. I'll do anything to help you.
Dennis!
All the leaves will be found in time. You have to believe me, Alyssa.
That'd be great, a Dennis spin-off where they do all the lore.
Find all the leaves and save Mum from the entities.
That's the spirit. Don't forget, you can count on me. If there's anything I can do, just ask. Just one thing I'd like to know. What is this place?
All right, and we're here now. So we have Dennis as a companion. He has a very dopey run, but yeah. So now he's gonna be joining us on the rest of our journeys.
Alyssa, wait
and
for me!
I'm lying to you. I'm sorry. I got your hopes up. He is literally only able to like walk around for this one little area. I feel like he had a huge part in walking around and doing things with us, but this is the only area. And he's gone now.
Dennis! Where are you?
Sis!
What? But you said she wouldn't be back for another 6 months.
I know, but that's her. No mistake. I'm sure of it. Linda!
Wait, Dennis!
Sis!
I've come back, Dennis. I couldn't leave you in that house alone any longer. I'm here now.
Oh, how sweet. Oh no.
I missed you too, Dennis.
So have you guys ever seen Suicide Squad? This is actually the prequel.
Aren't you, Alyssa? You have some remarkable powers.
But no one is powerful enough to defeat us. If you want your friend alive, give us your heart so we can create a new entity.
Dennis!
Alyssa!
Dennis! Dennis!
Well, that's a little awkward. So now we have to go save Dennis. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get 3... Oh, we got bad RNG. Dang it. Alright. We need to get 3 keys. That's basically the entirety of this area. The first key is right there. It's very easy. So when does this game turn into a clock tower game? I will let you know when I find out the answer for myself because I still have no idea. My theory is that maybe in Clock Tower 1 and 2 that burrows from that game were an entity of some kind, and Sister May was a subordinate. Jennifer might have been a rooter, and I don't know. That's the only thing I have. Unfortunately, some bigger Clock Tower fans than me disagree with that theory, even though I think it's a pretty solid one. Alright, so we're gonna come over here. We need a looking glass mirror. The reason for this is that even though the key is in there, we can't use it. We can't pick it up. It won't let us. You're probably thinking like, oh, there's no reason for it, you know, and she apparently can't just, you know, smash the glass. So we're gonna have to find it another way. We also really only can use 3 holy waters in this area, which is pretty much enough, but otherwise we kind of like have to deal with some bad stuff. Oh, hey, look, a mirror. She's just gonna pose and be cute, and oh god.
It's showtime!
It's showtime, boys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn immediately around and do this. So now we are in a mirrored version of this hospital area. And now we're also being chased by Scissor Woman. Are the controls inverted? No, thank God, that would be terrible. So we don't actually need the item that's in there, we just need to break the sigil because then it's gonna be broken on the other way. Alright, can you give me some good RNG, please? It's not good RNG, because now I'm... Oh yeah, there we go. Now if I get to the door, I would have taken panic damage, but because I got to the door before her thing fully finished, it actually didn't give me any damage, thankfully.
Snippety, snippety, snap.
So she's gonna snippety snap, and we're just gonna go run down here. She's not gonna exactly follow us in here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up that key, and then we're gonna hit her through the wall. Yes, Alyssa does have wall hacks with the water.
Snippety snap.
Don't ask me why. I did make this game. That would have been. It also would have been absolutely terrible. It would have been the. I probably wouldn't run the game if that was the case. And then we're just gonna. Oh, we got weird RNG. All right, that's fine. You want him to come out of this room because then he keeps the door open for you and you don't have to open it yourself. But that's okay.
Come on, Alyssa!
And now we can go into here. And boom, we have all 3 keys that we need to unlock a door. So that's good. We're gonna crawl back through here.
Come on, Alyssa!
I'm not gonna try and run past him. Normally I would, but let's see if he does this.
It's showtime!
It's showtime. Oh god. Alright, we're good. It's very weird because they all respond to the holy water differently, if you guys have noticed. Like Corroder, he starts burning, Chopper turns into a whirlwind, and they kind of just turn into a light source. So what we're gonna do here, get onto the side, use that. Fill her holy water right there, and we are good to go. And now we are out of the hospital, and we are heading into the end game. It's showtime, folks. We're almost there.
Yodohe Adohe Adonai Ton Nehe Shibulat. Yodohe Adohe.
Oh, hey, look, it's our
Adonai
grandfather.
Ton Nehe Shibulat.
He has a pretty cool bowler hat.
Grandpa?
We did it. It only took us about 2 hours, and we finally have a clock tower. Also, Scissorman's gonna be right there, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for him a little bit. We're gonna throw that at the last possible second. I think that's okay. Gonna throw the sigil water onto here. Gonna throw the water onto him. And we are through. And we got this banger of a track. And you guys thought that this was a Devil May Cry charity event. You're like, why is this game here? This is not Devil May Cry. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wait till the top of the stairs. Throw that onto him. We need to grab this note that is going to tell us that there is a loose steel bar that we can use. Even though we don't read the note, we still need to pick it up. Head down here. Hopefully he doesn't bug us. We're good. See, like, tell me that this is not like a set piece. Like, you don't expect Virgil to just come out here. This is practically, this is practically DMC 6. Alright, so we're gonna grab another arrow. And then we should only have to grab 2 more for the rest of the game. So, Scissor Woman is actually the next boss that we're going to be fighting, and she's the one that we're going to be using the 2 arrows on, because she actually has a unique mechanic in that Alyssa will not automatically aim at her. Instead, what she's going to be doing is just aiming wherever she is facing. So we actually need to position Alyssa in the proper way to get her. And she has a very small health bar, and she has some very devastating attacks outside of the first 2 that are pretty much static every time. So if we miss those, bad things happen. Also, just since we're doing not a whole lot right now, make sure if you guys are able to, we're doing this charity stream for Doctors Without Borders, so if you have a couple of dollars to give, feel free to do so. If not, watching this stream is more than enough support, but if you would like and you enjoy this run, maybe throw a couple of dollars in. We are very close to $2,000. I believe we're only about 300 off, which is absolutely insane. You guys have been totally crushing it this entire weekend. But yeah, if you guys have been enjoying this, make sure to support the charities. Also, don't mind the ghosts. They just like to chill a little bit. That one's not gonna bug us. Here we go. So right now we need to get behind this fireplace to get that right there. That is an A. Yeah. So we're gonna use that. Somehow we're gonna reach past Scissor Woman to set out the fire. Oh, that's what she can do. Alright, well, that's okay. Sometimes she hits, sometimes she doesn't. It kind of just depends on the angle that she comes into the room with. So we're gonna be coming right over here, and this took me so long to find casually. This was the only thing during my casual playthrough that I needed to, like, Google. You need to move that candlestick. For whatever reason, it does this. You have no idea how long I was lost on that part. So right now, that is going to be the last time that we refill our holy water. Technically, you don't need to refill right there if you get some good RNG, but unfortunately, I was not that lucky. So we're going to come into the library here, and even though Sister One was behind us, she's now in front of us. Oh, God. That's okay. We're going to run past her. Oopsies. All right, come on. That angle is always really bad, and I always mess it up. It's not very easy to get on this ledge. So if you saw, we picked up that A and we slotted it into the fountain, and now we have an N. So there's three of them. There's Alyssa, Nancy, and Dick, but they also correspond to some former rooters who lived in this castle, who one of them became an entity. I can't remember their names, but like the daughter started with A, mom started with the N, and father started with the D. So it's like history repeating itself. Even though his name is technically Richard, but it's still a D because Dick is short for Richard, which I don't understand to this day.
There you are! Yeah!
Also, that is the last holy water that we're going to be throwing for the rest of the room. We now no longer have to worry about any water getting anywhere. There we go, we're going to come over here. Throw the N onto this crest, or onto this wall, whatever it is. And look at that. So we're coming up to the scariest part of the game. In a few minutes, this game is going to turn into Resident Evil, and these knights that we are going to be running past are actually going to have swinging axes that can kill us. This is actually why I picked up that sigil stone way at the beginning of the game in case this happens. Now, there is a safety strat and there is a risky strat. In my PBs, I like to go for the risky strat unless I know that I can't do it. Previously, we thought it was just random, but I found a way to make it consistent, so hopefully we'll see, or at least we'll know if we're gonna die or not. Yeah, this is another cutscene hallway like earlier before we met Corroder. We just had to, normally we would match through all of these, but yeah. Also, we learned more about entities, and we kind of learned a little bit about the history of them and all that stuff. And we also learned that Alyssa's grandfather actually was able to find his way here. This is where he has been missing the entire time because of this place.
Dennis! Dennis! I'll save you, Dennis!
So how is she gonna save Dennis, you're wondering? Bad. All right. So now we are gonna use the D crest that we found earlier to insert that into there. And now we have activated the statues outside. So the way I'm gonna do here is I need to go through this area in a specific way. If you see right about there, that swinging one that's going horizontally, it's timed with the one that's going vertically. We can't see the horizontally one until we like actually are in danger of it. So the way that I know if we'll be able to make it one cycle or not is I will be looking at the other one that is vertical on the other side because it's synced with it. And depending on where that one is, I'll go for it or not. This is why I grabbed the sigil just in case I mess up. Because dying here sucks. And I have died here on PvPs. Alright, we can't get it. If the thing is going up, then you're not going to make it. So we just wait a second, and we're good. We have to do that one more time, but the second one is pretty much 99% consistent. I have not failed it yet, and I don't plan to. Such a goofy, yeah. You really have to appreciate it. You know, they put a lot of work into it. It's really janky and doesn't work, but it's like this game. Also, I'm going to skip this cutscene because I'm pretty sure it actually affects the timer a little bit. We're on a timer now. We need to get to the other side before a certain point. I want to make sure that we make it. Alright, we did it. Alright. So here we go. Pinwheels, it's kind of cool. Also, he's facing the other way now. Aw. Well, goodbye, Dennis.
Welcome, Alyssa. That was just a dress rehearsal.
Oh.
Now let the show begin. Lights, camera, action!
Oh, hey, it was a fake one the entire time. Bet you guys didn't see that coming. It was a fake one. That makes total sense.
Stop! Hey, I'll do anything! Anything!
You got debated, chat. You got bamboozled.
Run, Alyssa! Forget about me! Run for your life!
Yeah, it was just a stuffed doll that was able to move and look and talk.
Silence! What's it going to be? Leave Dennis or donate your heart to us? The clock is ticking.
See, clock, he said it. It's clock tower. It makes sense.
We need an answer!
Yes, what's it to be?
And then that happens. You guys are following the story, right? You know, this is gonna be on the test after the video. Alright, so now that we have fallen down here, we are back in Dick's study, which is somehow exactly the same as the one in his house. And we look over here, and for some reason, we find Alyssa's drawings. That is her way of getting the magical bow and arrow power, is finding those ones. And she just goes, who would have thought? Huh, that's weird. We also have all of these photos. All of these are things that Alyssa has drawn for her grandfather. And there's gonna be a reason for it, but essentially it's Capcom being creepy. And this cutscene pretty much explains it being creepy. He's gonna drop his stuff there.
Lord Burroughs, my ancestor, hear me. I know of your pain and anger when you lost your beloved daughter Annabelle. Just before the ritual of engagement, my love for Alyssa led me to kill her father, Philip. Entity, was everything you're doing? Is it all because of you? Do you want me to resurrect Lord Burroughs after 400 years? To unite us and to enact the ritual of engagement with Alyssa's blood? Is that what you want? Do you truly want me to stab my dearest granddaughter in the chest? Well, that doesn't sound bad. Once the deed is done, I will be with Alyssa forever. Return to this earth, Lord Burroughs. Join with me, and we will complete the ritual of engagement. Enter my body, and let our flesh be fused.
hope everyone has sweet dreams tonight. We're back to inconvenience. Oh, he's missing from the I forgot he was missing from the painting.
Now you know everything, Alyssa. The one who's after your heart is none other than your grandfather, with the blessing of our own
would have
Lord
thought?
Burrows.
Also, by the way, that's Scissor Man. I just want to keep on mentioning that. If you're a Clock Tower fan, that hurts you. That hurts to say.
Thanks to you, our ranks will swell and prosper.
Capcom is very horny on Maine. And keep in mind, it's a 14-year-old girl. Alyssa is literally 14.
Chop, 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 on the flame, get them involved.
Dennis!
Alright, now we're over here again. We're gonna really quickly make our way over. We need to go through that thing again. And we're gonna do that, hopefully, in a specific enough way that we don't die. Good. Barely made it. And yeah, if you don't have the Sigil Stone, that is a one-shot. And that kills your run. So now we're just making our way back the same way. Alright, now we have two boss fights in a row, Scissor Woman and Scissor Man. Scissor Woman is my least favorite to do because it has no lock-on. And Scissor Man is a very, very dangerous one. So hopefully this goes well. If not, I'm not sure what to do. I have no backup for this going poorly. But it's okay, because you know what? We get the 2-for-1 special. That's right, for the cost of 1 T-pose, you can dominate over 2 subordinates. Song always reminds me of getting a haircut, which is kind of sad because I miss having haircuts. All right, so we're gonna turn down this way. Ooh, this might be a bad angle. Okay, we're good. All right, and that is the fight. So I had to angle myself in a way that she would get into my spot, and thank God that she did, because the first two are always static. Always spawns in the same spots. Afterwards, it is completely random, and she can do an attack that basically just like completely ruins the entire flow. And she turns into confetti.
How dare you kill my sister? You'll pay for it! I'll make mincemeat out of you!
Oh, and Dennis also just kind of disappears. So this is the hardest fight. What we're going to be doing is counterattacks. Normally we would need 6 charges Normally we need 6 charges, but we're going to try and go for 5. Because that will bind him if we do it when he's attacking us. That looks so far. Good. It's not good.
Let me go! Let me go!
That was kind of a wonky fight, but that's okay. This fight never goes well in any of my runs. And again, we're not able to actually use any abilities whatsoever. We can't use any of the arrows to make it easier. We literally have the round, so we end the run with 0 arrows. Also, he survives that. That's good.
I've a present for you.
I have to be careful here because I can actually accidentally bind him and do the gigantic attack, which is really bad. So I'm gonna be playing it safe. And we did it. That is Scissor Man dead. I hope you like the death beat because we're gonna be doing that 3 times on the final boss.
I'm the winner.
Oh, he's still alive. He's okay.
Now to take revenge for my sister.
Alyssa!
And he turns into confetti. Oh, they're just having a grand old time. How sweet, we reunited them.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
No, thank you. It was you who saved me. Something special.
I don't know how to explain that. Please don't ask me to.
You destroyed all the subordinates. You think you're so clever, but you still have to destroy me. If you want to save your mother, come up to the top of the clock tower. I'm waiting.
All right, boys, we're finally at the clock tower.
The real identity of the Dark Man. It's my grandfather.
We're 10 minutes minus cutscenes. We're about 10 minutes away from the end of the game. Maybe 15. And we're finally at the clock tower.
Dennis, you may be a man, but you're not a ruder. I am.
Hey, don't leave me, Alyssa.
Bye, Ron. It's been fun. The title was true. Now we get to finally ascend the clock tower. It is a very nice clock tower. It can even float. If you guys have ever seen DMC3's, I think it's Virgil 3, where it's on top of that thing. I'm pretty sure it took inspiration from this game. I'll admit to you guys, I have not played any good DMC games. I have the trilogy on PS2, and I'll prove on stream that I have it after this. But I'm pretty sure from what I've seen that they took inspiration from this. Thank you, Bones. Yeah. So here we go. This is the other red arrow. Again, this acts as a substrategy. So the bonus fight strategy is actually really important. We need to death laser him 3 times. And he can be extremely painful. So painful that I have lost a world record run literally 3 seconds away from finishing the game. I'm not even kidding. I was 3 seconds away and I lost world record. That's how tough this fight is. don't rage whenever I play games. That got me so close though. I have never been closer outside of playing League of Legends to raging. So I'm always traumatized by it. Also, this is the last arrow that we have picked up, and I don't believe I have messed up any of them, so I think we should be good to go. Gonna crawl through here. We can grab this like from really far away. Right there. Yeah. You'll see why I'm gonna when we're done. Don't look down, Alyssa. That's like the worst thing you can do in a situation like this. So just in case this fight goes wrong, I don't think it will. But I'm just gonna save, you know, just because you never know what's gonna happen. You also saw there it said an hour and 21. That would be so nice if we had game time, because it also doesn't include cutscenes. So theoretically, if I wanted to, I could have been RPG based, but all right. I hope you're ready for some stuff to happen.
Grandpa.
I've been waiting for you, Alyssa. You don't know how hard I tried to find Burroughs Castle in order to become one with you. I searched and searched for 3 years, and at last I found it. Burroughs Castle used to stand in exactly the same spot where the Hamilton house is now. It's not a coincidence. It's all the entity's doing. This is our destiny.
Grandpa!
Don't look so sad. Once the ritual of engagement is complete, you and I will become a new entity, and we can be together forever.
No! Please, Grandpa, come to your senses and give me my mum back.
Your mum? Your mother is right there.
Mum?
I don't know how she missed out on her way up.
Mom!
Nancy betrayed me more than once. She married that weak, lily-livered, good-for-nothing Philip. And then she tried to prevent me from becoming one with my most precious granddaughter. That's why she's there. There was no other way, Alyssa.
Damn you! You're not my grandfather. I don't know who you are anymore. But I know that I'm a Ruder. I'll destroy you and save my mother.
Fool! 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 In a few minutes, the clock will strike 12, announcing the arrival of your 15th birthday. Then, the ritual of engagement will commence. Now, Alyssa.
Yeah, Dick Burrows definitely knows how to dress. He kind of reminds me of Cervantes from Soul Calibur, if you guys have ever played that game. Oh, hey, we got a new outfit. Pretty cool. The rest of the context for the scene, though, not very cool.
Alyssa,
but the new outfit's kind of cool.
Where are you, Alyssa? Alyssa!
Dennis!
Alyssa!
Dennis!
Give up, Alyssa. No one can help you now. Not even your dear mother.
Well, yeah. No idea.
All hail entities of the earth. Burroughs and I will now carry out the ritual to become a new entity. Ghosts haunting the human realm. Subordinates dwelling in the shadows. Gather here to witness the glorious ritual of engagement. Yadohe, Adohe, Adonai.
Oh, hey, they're back. Look, it's all of our friends, guys. The gang's all here. Corroder, Sledgehammer, Shopper, they're all ready to support us in our ritual of engagement. Let me tell you, I bet you guys didn't expect any of this. See, that's the good thing about these weird bad games, is there is no way you could have possibly predicted any of this.
Merge into one entity with me, so that we can be together forever!
Alyssa!
Oh no. Now they messed up.
You little Alyssa!
And look at Dennis, man. Dennis is a bro. This guy is like a 7'5" beast of a human, and he still jumps on him. Alright, I hope you guys are ready for the hardest fight in the entire game. So let's see if I can do this right. I'm gonna be kind of quiet here, just so I get everything correct, because this requires a lot of concentration. Like a staggering amount. Just know I can bind him in five things, not 6. Also, he has 2 health bars. So what we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna walk towards him. Gonna use his purple ability. That was actually really bad RNG. Oh, this is bad. Okay, this is fine. Oh, we got it. Cool. All right, so this fight is going really terribly. We got some very bad luck. Normally he doesn't walk forward and swing at us. Normally he just continues with the purple orbs, and that kind of threw me off. But should be okay. But like, keep in mind that would have been run dead if this was a speed run. So we need to bind him once with that. Just gonna throw that there. I'm gonna use an arrow to knock him forward that way. We're gonna bind him right there. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna bind him like that, and that should allow us to do another death beam. He can do another death beam. In fact, I can actually show that off. But he can do a death beam himself. Fade out and attack. And again with that. We're gonna do the same thing. Knock him over twice with those arrows. Bind him with that. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're gonna do a third death theme. And guess what? That is not gonna finish him off. Yeah, we have plenty of time to show off some stuff. It's actually good that I made that save thing, because then I could show off his death theme, which I totally forgot about, and it's actually awesome. And then finally, one single arrow. And that is the fight. That is Lord Burroughs defeated. Oh, it's not done yet, guys. It's not done. You know how I said I lost a record 3 seconds before the end of it? Just wait.
My dearest Alyssa, you always were a spirited child. But that's enough. Now be a good girl and grab my hand. What's the matter, Alyssa? Don't you want to live happily with me for all eternity?
Never!
Alyssa! You belong to me forever!
So this is where, essentially, if he melees at you, the run is very much dead. Yeah! Like that.
Today is Alyssa's 10th. You fool!
Oh, yeah.
Alyssa is growing up into a love.
Now run is done. Woo! Alright, now we are officially done. But yeah, that happened during World Record Run, and that killed it. Because normally he tries to throw a purple orb at you, and you can walk right past him, but sometimes he will just swing and you have no response. You literally cannot even move.
I won't allow the ritual to happen.
Never!
Go ahead. Try and tell me that Alyssa is not the daughter of Sparta. Tell me that this is not a DMC game. This was gonna be DMC 3, and then they decided to scrap it and make their own IP, and then they connected it to an existing IP for money. There we go. And look at that.
Alyssa! Mom? Mom?
This would fit more into DMC than Clock Tower. If this was DMC 3 instead of Clock Tower 3, it would honestly be much more fitting. Had more Clock Tower than the RE3 remake. That is true. Rooters never cry.
Dennis.
Alyssa!
Yeah, she loves being a rooter, okay? That's her favorite thing. She's absolutely crazy about it. And Mom, Dennis is alive.
We did it.
Get a happy ending with Ron Weasley. And we defeated our grandfather, who was trying to merge with us and become one with. And that is the end of Clock Tower 3. Stick around, we still got a few more bonus things that we're going to be showing off. I'm going to show off 2 things. Also, rooter points mean absolutely nothing. We literally have no idea what they're used for. The score means absolutely nothing. So if anybody wants to figure out what this were for, feel free to do so, because we have no idea and we've tried. So now that is it. You guys have seen the story. We're going to be showing you some cool things. The first thing that we're going to be showing you guys is this wonderful Capcom logo, just so you know who made the game. You guys couldn't tell. Also produced by Capcom again. Here we go. I'm going to load into here. I'm going to show you guys, we're going to go back to the boss fight, and I'm going to show you guys what happens when you basically get bound by those 3 purple orbs that he was shooting at us. Let me tell you, this took me so many attempts on my first try. This boss fight is literally just such a significant jump from the other boss fights that it's insane. You have to like pretty much play perfectly, and you guys even see how badly it can go wrong. He's gonna hit us with 1 binds. Gonna hit us with 2 binds. Uh-oh.
This is the end!
Oh! Now that's a deathly. So yeah, that's what happens when you get bound. It's not very fun. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys the alternate costumes that I was talking about earlier. But essentially this game has something called a clear mode. Clear mode is not just cosmetics added, but it's also significantly harder. The bosses have a lot more health, they're a lot more difficult to deal with, and they give harder RNG. It's overall just basically hard mode for this game. So we're going to take a look at these here. I actually do plan on doing clear mode speedruns. I haven't yet, but that is the eventual plan, so to speak. And we're kind of just going to go over them. I can't show you guys the Japanese ones because I don't actually have a Japanese copy of this game, nor a Japanese PS2, but you can look them up yourselves. The Japanese ones are very tame. They're pretty much just like alternate colorings on her schoolgirl costume that we've seen. You know, the green shirt, the plaid skirt. It's pretty much just a recoloring of that, and then a Santa Claus costume as well. That is very like, not like sexy Santa at all. Keep in mind, this is a 14-year-old girl who hasn't been home in 2 years, meaning these clothing items have been in there for 2 years. So the first one that we're going to be looking at, also this is Alyssa's bedroom. We don't really go in here outside of a cutscene because there's really no point. There's the lavender water in here, but it's slower so we don't grab it. We're going to use the wardrobe key to open this up. Alright, first costume we're going to do is the one that you guys have already seen. This is the Rooter costume. This is the one that we use for the final fight. You can actually use it for the rest of the game, which is really cool, and it's actually probably my favorite. The second one is the cowgirl outfit. So this one isn't as bad. You know, just jean pants, a short jean jacket, and yeah, this is probably the tamest costume other than the Rooter one on the on the entire US version of the game. And then we got the armored one. Now, if you guys have seen Resident Evil 4 Ashley's, this is very, very different. As in, she is literally not wearing pants. And during the cutscenes where you are crawling, it's bad. I don't know why they thought this was okay for how young this character is. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, that's literally like what people make fun of with gamer outfits. And then we got this one. Yep. Yeah, this is a BDSM one. Again, Capcom. What were you thinking? Why? I have so many questions about why. Just why. And the thing is, if you're speedrunning clear mode, if you're going through the speedrun, you pretty much have to, it's a speedrunning leaderboard requirement that you have to choose an alternate costume. I don't know why that is. I joined the community very late, so I wasn't there for this rule to get established, but you have to I'm not even kidding, you can go look it up on the leaderboards. If you want to play clear mode and do speedruns of it, you have to choose a costume. Otherwise, they will artificially add time to it. I'm not a big fan of that, honestly, but yeah. So you get to use one of these ones. In the Japanese version, it's like you get this rear costume and then you get two schoolgirl ones, but they're like really tame and just different colors. And then you get that one would be the Santa Claus outfit. In fact, let me see if I can, because we have a little bit of time here. Let me see if I can actually find images of the Japanese ones, because normally it's vice versa. Normally they censor them, like in for example, Fatal Frame 4 had some pretty lewd ones as well for the Japanese version, but the American version got censored by giving them costumes from Zelda and from Mario. Like, you can play as Luigi in that game, you can play as Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess. It's very weird. So let me find these very quickly. Oh, here we go. This is like literally the perfect image for this. In the meantime, as I'm pulling this up, if you guys haven't, make sure to donate if you can. We're getting very, very close. We're at 1,700 and we're almost to 1,200. So... or I'm sorry, we're almost to 2,000. We're way past 1,200 because you guys have been absolutely amazing. But yeah, if you're interested in supporting Doctors Without Borders, there should be a donation link down below. Make sure to check that out if you can. If not, just, you know, supporting us and being here is more than enough. But yeah, here are the Japanese costumes. Those are the Japanese costumes that are in the top left. That is what the Japanese people got for their costumes. Versus this. I'm not sure. Do you guys see a little bit of a difference? I think I see a bit of a difference in regards to the tone and general theme of what they were actually doing with the costumes. Call me crazy, but I feel like somebody should have been fired. Yeah, in the European version has the same costumes as NA as well. Oh, I just realized, yeah, that's pretty much Sherry's costume from RE2. Yeah, the Santa one's so good though. But yeah, alright everyone, I think that is about it for me. We got a lot done. We showed off that Capcom has a really bad problem. We have shown off that this game is absolutely hilarious. And if you can, I would recommend picking it up and playing it for yourself. It's definitely a surprisingly fun game to play casually, and you can pick it up for pretty cheap. I mean, I'm a PS2 collector, and this is probably one of the cheapest horror games that I picked up. It was like $30 for pretty much a brand new copy, versus $500 for Kuon, which was for me $500 for Ruler Rose, and $200 for Haunting Ground. So you can pick it up cheap. I would recommend it. If you like DMC, you guys have seen it. This is pretty much the true DMC2. Like, if this was DMC2, this would probably be more fitting than Clock Tower 3. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the run. I hope you guys enjoyed this very campy game. I love it to bits. But I think I'm gonna have to call it here. Thank you guys so much for supporting Doctors Without Borders. There should be, if we check the schedule here, let me see if I can find it. But I believe that there's gonna be someone coming in about 10 to 15 minutes. If one of the moderators or my host here, who has been fantastic so far, if you'd like to tell us what's coming up next, then feel free to do so.
Sure thing. Hello, it's me again. So coming up, we got Johto playing some DMC4/reboot, and hosting him will be Sino and I don't know how to say the other name, Monema. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That is coming up very soon. And thank you very much, Demonic, for this cool run. Basically, it was weird, but
That's
at
a way
the
of
same
putting
time, like, hot damn, that was such a cool run.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want, you can also follow me, twitch.tv/demonicrobots. I also am on Twitter, twitter.com/demonicruns. But without further ado, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'm really excited to see DMC4 and DMC Reboot. Have a good one, everyone.
Peace, guys.